Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the honors, the praises, the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahweh by Sham Yahabashai, Bahasham Wahavakar Kwadash. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few, the very few brothers and sisters that are listening and also learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days, because we're living in the last days of the last days. And I want to speak about a new topic, and this is why it's so good. You got to take time out to study, separate yourself from the world so you can have mind clarity and do these type of lessons. I want to speak about resistant and servant. What is a servant? A servant is a slave. What is a slave? Right? An employee. What's an employee? A hired servant. So anyone that goes to work, they're a hired servant, right? You're getting paid for your services, all right? So we're going to go to Deuteronomy, and we're going to go to Deuteronomy 24, and we're going to start straight at 10. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, that the man to whom thou lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. So when you're lending something, when someone owes you something, you don't run into his house. He will give you that pledge. And what's the pledge? You take something of his as return that he owes you that particular thing. And if a man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. If any case thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee. And it shall be righteousness unto thee before the Lord thy power. So guess what? If a man's poor, you deliver him his pledge before sun goes down, because he needs that, right? That's his livelihood. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. You're not supposed to oppress your servants. If you have someone working for you, you don't oppress them, right? And in this system, what they do, they oppress you. They beat you down. And what's the age of pension now? It's went up to what, 70, right? 70 years old. How do you know you live to 70? So this is bad, man. You got to work till like you're 70 years old. And you may not even get a pension. I think the best thing to do is, right? When it comes to the rich are rich. The poor are poor, right? Tax the rich. And guess what? Put less tax on the poor. That would solve the problem. But they're not doing that. And it says, check this out, Baba Kishar. At his day, thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. The scriptures tell you, don't oppress the poor, unless the poor cry out to the Father and you get judged. Because the Lord's for the poor. Yahushua is for the poor. He's for the downtrodden. Okay? So you got to be careful how you're dealing with the poor out here. Because the poor, the Lord looks upon them. And we're going to go straight to verse 19. When thou cuttest down thy harvest in the fields, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. So what is a sheaf? What's a sheaf? It's the bundles of corn that you wrap up to eat. You shall not fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. But the Lord thy power may bless thee in all the work of thy hands. So key thing, stranger and fatherless. So you even have, you have a welfare system in the scriptures, which the scriptures promote you to work, but you have a welfare system, right? So you don't fetch that, you don't shift it up, you don't sweep it up. You leave that for the poor. You leave that for the homeless. Everything's in these scriptures, everything. right? And it says, when thou beatest thy olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, for the widow. Thou shalt remember that I was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee, do this thing. So you don't sheaf, you don't rake up everything. You leave some for the poor. That was the welfare system within the scriptures. That's how everyone gets fed. So no one's really poor like that. Now we're gonna go to Ruth, the book of Ruth, and further expound on this. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 2. And if you know about Ruth, Ruth had Naomi. And Naomi had the kingsman. Check this out, hold on. And Naomi had a kingsman of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name is Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him, in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And basically, Naomi, she was a Moabite. Okay? Read the book of Ruth. And it says, check this out. Hold on. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and her hap. Babakasha. I'm moving too fast. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. We're going to start at 2. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean the ears of the corn after him, in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And her hap was to lie it on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz, who was the kindred of Elimelech. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem, and said unto the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto his servant that was set over the reapers, whose damsel is this? Remember, the damsel was Naomi, right? Naomi was a Moabitess, right? I believe her father and mother had passed, if I'm correct. She was sojourning. She was a stranger in that land. And it says, Babakashah, and the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is a Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. Moab represent the so-called Chinese today. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and have continued evening from morning until now. So she was a hard worker. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't just lying on her back all day, right? That she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by thy maidens. Let thy eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not, next page, touch thee? And when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, why have I found grace in thy eyes? Thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger. And Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been showed me all that has done unto my mother-in-law since, and the death of thy husband, O Salakia. It was her husband that passed away, so she was a widow. And you know what the scriptures talk about widows as well? They're shown favor. The poor, the widows, they're the ones that are shown favor. Right? And I want to say this, there's a lot of, you know what I'm finding out? There's a lot of adopted children. There's a lot of, what do you call them? Like foster adopted children. A lot of these people walking around with children, a lot of those are adopted. You know that, right? And it says, Brother Kishar, check this out. And Boaz answered and said unto her, it had been fully showed me all that has done unto my mother-in-law since the death of my husband, and how thou hast left thy father and mother and land of nativity, and are coming to the people which thou knewest not hereto. And the Lord Jehovah recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord thy power of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. So guess what? Her husband died, and she left the land of Moab to work. So she was shown favor. When she said, let me find favor, that's a spirit, that's a spirit. Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord. So humble, women were humble back then, right? My Lord, for thou hast comforted me, for thou hast spoken friendly unto thy handmaid. Thou art be not like unto them of thy handmaidens. So Boaz said unto her at mealtime, come hither and eat the bread and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers. And he reached her parched corn, and she did eat and was sufficed, and left. And when she was risen up to the glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even unto among the sheaves, and reproach her not. And what's the sheaves? The food. So she was shown great favor. All right? And it says, so she gleaned in the field until evening and beat out that she had gleaned. And it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought forth and gave to her, that she had reserved after she sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where rootest thou? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law, whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name whom I brought today is Boaz. And guess what? Boaz is the line of David. So Jesse, Obed, that's all the line of David, the house of David. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he, the Lord, who have not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of king unto us, one of our next kinsmen. So guess what? Boaz was related to Naomi, and who else? The Moabitess, the servant. And it says, check this out. The Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. When Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, my daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now is not Boaz our kindred, with whose maidens thou was? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself therefore and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee. Get thee down to the floor, but make not thyself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. And it shall be when he lieth down, thou shalt mark the place which he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. And she said unto her, all that thou sayest unto me I will do. And she went down unto the floor, and did according to all her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, his heart was merry. He went to lie down in a heap of corn, and she came softly, and uncovered his feet, and lay her down. So you see all this that she was doing. And it came to pass at midnight, that the man was afraid, and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaid, for thou art near a kinsman. And he said, blessed be the Lord our power, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than that at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all thou requirest. For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman. How about there is a kinsman nearer than I? Tarry this night, and it shall be morning. But if he will perform unto thee the part of kinsman, well, let him do that kinsman's part. But if he will not do the part of kinsman to thee, then will I do the part of kinsman to thee. As the Lord liveth, lie down unto the morning. Right? So we're going to get straight to it. Straight to it. And when we go to Ruth chapter 4, right? Check this out. And we go straight to verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi? Thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my rights to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. So therefore, guess what was given? Guess what was given? A whole inheritance to Ruth. And not just to Ruth. It was to who? Yeah, it was Ruth the Moabitess. So this shows you, when you have a servant, your servant is hired, right? And it's hired for pay. But Ruth was showing great, great mercy for what she done. Great mercy, great favor in the sight of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. When a man's ways please the Lord, he even causes his enemies to be at peace with him also. There's lessons we can learn from this, right? You're not supposed to be oppressing your servants. If someone works for you, you're supposed to give them their hire the same day. And we read that in Deuteronomy. See if there's anything else, Baba Kishon. So we got that. Supposed to give them their hire. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Right. We got the main point. So read the book of Ruth, right? And you'll find out how she was a servant that came from another land. Her husband died, passed away. She came and she was shown great favor by Boaz, right? Who was related to Obed, and Obed was also related to King David. I hope this was edifying. I'm going to shut off here, and until the next time, Shalom.